What's up, y'all? Another edition of the Robin Lundberg Show coming to you live. Had to get a new computer, so let me know if this works out okay, if the look is okay, if everything is coming through okay, because my setup from before is mildly changed. Oh, the microphone was way down. That was one thing that's going to mess it up. So I had to get a new computer, like I was saying, and let me know if everything is coming through all right, how everything sounds, and everything is working as it should be. Another rough day today in my life. I got to tell you, I got to be honest with you. Another rough day. I want to talk about it, but I'm going to hold my tongue for a little bit. I might speak about it at length, but it has something to do with the word severance and my employer, uh, and not good, no bueno. But I'm not going to do another crying episode today. I don't know if I have that in me. I set this show off because of regular media job troubles. And then I had the other show where you can go check it out on the playlist. A Job Does Not Define Me, where I talked about this situation at SI and my career situation in general. But yeah, I don't have that in me today. I'm not going to sit here and beg for a pity party or nothing like that. Going to get on with the show because this show has been very therapeutic for me. It's kept me going during this time period, and we're rocking and rolling right now, thanks to someone by the name of Caitlin Clark. And there's a few Caitlin Clark topics again to get to today. I know the NFL draft is about to go on, but I've never been an NFL draft prospect guy. I know that the Knicks and the Sixers are about to tip off. Of course, I'll cover that as it goes along. I don't have much on the rundown today, if I'm being real with you, because it was such a crazy day for me, and I've been scrambling. So your comments will dictate the rest of the subject matter once I get through what I had planned to cover. So please start sending your comments in right now so I can get them going. I can get that as a part of the show because obviously that's always important to me, and a big reason why I do what I do and why this has worked effectively for me in doing so. Now, I mentioned before, and I touched on this a little bit yesterday, but the whole Caitlin Clark having to prove herself at the WNBA level. I actually think there's a chance she's even better at the WNBA level. I really do. Because at the WNBA level, she will be playing with better players. And her game is predicated. So I got this new computer, so like forgot I have to enter codes to sign into things. Her game is predicated on sharing the ball as well as shooting from the parking lot. Right? Like that's not the only thing she does well is shoot the ball. She's an excellent passer, and she's got an excellent teammate now in Alea Boston. Let me show the highlight clips I showed from yesterday. Share this screen real quick. Hopefully this is all working. This is annoying. I got to grant access and everything like that on the screen because I haven't. All right, I can't share the screen today. I'll have to do it tomorrow or on the next episode because I didn't have this preset up on this new computer. But anyway, the highlights of Alea Boston and Caitlin Clark showed just how effective that pairing can be and what her court vision could allow her to do in that regard as far as getting even better at the WNBA level. Because some players do better when the talent level around them is elevated. And when you look at Caitlin Clark at Iowa, she elevated the talent around her, right? Like, I mean, that's pretty much inarguable. She elevated the talent around her, even though some of those girls were good players, but nobody expected Iowa to be in that mix. Nobody expected them to be doing what they did at that time period, and that was in large part due to her. Do we have the stream going on YouTube? I'm just going to make sure this isn't messing up. Let me know if you guys see it and everything because this is a different computer and I'm just getting the software up and running. I'll have all these kinks worked out by next week. don't worry about that. But just send me some comments in to make sure that I know it's connected to YouTube because it's not showing me on the back end. Okay. JC2K says, yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Again, like in the Olympics, there are certain players who stand out when they play with those better players. Or in the All-Star game, they stand out, even though it's more of an exhibition when they play with those better players. But when Caitlin Clark gets to the WNBA level, she is going to be playing with players who are ready to receive those passes like Boston and can finish, and they can run that two-man game, that pick and roll game to perfection. Also, it makes it harder for other teams to double her or to take away what she wants to do. That it makes it more difficult in those instances because she has more talent around her, where you're not having to really put all of the attention on her at all times, which is what happened as she went further and further into the postseason last year. Kevin Zwicker says Clark is already the GOAT. She's gotten the masses to care about women's basketball when we historically give her that title. I agree. Caitlin Clark is the GOAT of women's basketball. She's the GOAT. You don't need a title. I mean, it's pretty obvious and plain to see. Not to mention, this is the part that frustrates me a little bit because I always want to see various sides of an argument and the equation and all that. But there was unfortunately, until I fix this, I can't share the screen. There was a article, I think it was from The Athletic. Jim Trotter, who wrote this for The Athletic. We should not delude ourselves into believing her appeal as an influencer is based solely on basketball because it's not. It says Caitlin Clark's attractiveness to corporations is heightened by the fact that she's a white woman who's dominated a sport that's viewed as predominantly black. I'm sorry. I don't. There have been white girls who played ball before. There have been white girls who played ball before. None of them got buckets like Caitlin Clark got buckets. None of them are as good as her. She's better. She's better than anyone I've ever seen. I don't know why people can't get that through their freaking heads. She's better. She's just better. It's okay to say. Almost every athlete I've ever liked is black. Almost everyone throughout my lifetime. My favorite players have always been black players. I'm a basketball fan first and foremost. And then a football fan if you're talking the major sports. You know? Who's the best quarterback I've ever seen? Patrick Mahomes. Who are the best basketball players I've ever seen? LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Steph Curry. Who's next on the list? You know, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, and Hakeem Olajuwon. I mean, like Jokic and Bird are the only two that I could even throw into the mix. You know, I could even put them in the mix. They're even in the conversation. I didn't just go like, Wally Zerbiak, let's go, baby. I didn't. It's crazy to me. People do. It just is what it is. It's okay. She's going to get more attention to the other girls who play now. Juju Watkins is going to be a bigger star because of this. Unfortunately, if you don't want white players to succeed, Paige Becker's going to be a bigger star because of this. But the girls who are already in the NBA are going to be a bigger star because of this. Angel Reese is a bigger star because of this. Angel Reese is a star. She's charismatic. I got nothing negative to say about Angel Reese. Like on so many of these topics today, people want you to be polarized. They want you to either be a glazer, as they say in the comment section, or you're a hater. That's like, no. I'm a truth teller. Like I said, I'm approaching this topic from a journalistic lens. I'm on a voyage here. I'm on a voyage here to find out, how this is going to go, what people think about it. And I will listen to every viewpoint. I'll listen to them. But we got to stop this shit. BT616, we need to find a way to get rid of the toxic Vex. Enrique Ngumbalo, sorry, I'm butchering the name. If smart vet for the Dallas Wings show some vets understand CC market value. Look, I don't think there's that many toxic vets. There's a few here and there, but I think as a whole, if you see her teammates and you see her new teammates, and I think the league will embrace it. Yeah, I did the episode yesterday about what Diana Taurasi had said, or just the way it came across to me. And I don't love that, but in the end, ultimately it's not that big a deal. It's really not that big a deal. But you would like to see, people appreciate and understand what's going on here. BT616 says black people that support CC are being labeled as race traitors. It's ridiculous. I don't want to. Black people are also not a monolith either. Like, this is where we get, and I see the white people in the comments too, like firing back the other way. This is not about all black people or all white people. You just have some people who are loud. There are, I guarantee you, many, 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 many black supporters of Caitlin Clark. Many. Many, 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 many. They understand. They see it. It's real, recognized, real. I don't even want to use the word they. Individuals understand. Ball, is life. Real, recognized, real. I spent my whole life playing basketball. When you get to a certain level, people can't front. People can't front. Peterman says, please don't tell me you like Tim Tebow, the NFL version. I mean, look, I mean, Tim Tebow won some games. I think, Tim Tebow, what's funny about him is like, he was so religious that I oftentimes wonder if like that helped him in the sense that he really thought what he was doing was bigger than him, even if he wasn't playing football for God, but like he wasn't worried about, what was going to happen on a given play because the things were bigger. He was tough. He's big and strong, good athlete. But yeah, Tim Tebow had physical limitation. Tim Tebow mania, that's a better example of, I think, people rallying around a white Christian player at quarterback than Caitlin Clark, because though, to be fair to Tebow, he was an all-time great college player too. It's not like Tim Tebow sucked at Florida. He was great. Maybe at the NFL level, that was part of the boost, and there was the novelty act of the Tebow mania. Same with Linsanity, an Asian player in the NBA. But Linsanity had to produce, Jeremy Lin had to produce in order to get people to pay attention like that. That's the way it works. And Caitlin Clark is a whole different phenomenon right now because she is doing it at such a level where you can't front on it. You can't deny it. Like, she's captured imaginations all through her play. She just broke the records. Like, she's not showing up and like everybody's giving her a charity, affirmative action thing because she's a white girl playing ball. The only reason she's on the map is because she played ball to a certain. She's not a sex symbol. I can't remember anything she specifically said that would be like, oh, that's why people are rallying around her. Is it because her skin is white? I mean, I don't think it necessarily. I won't say there is absolutely nothing to it. Eminem's opening the NFL draft tonight. I've used Eminem as an example before where, Eminem, it was probably harder for him to break in as a white guy. But once he broke in, he had more success because he was a white guy, because all these white fans who, I don't listen to rap, but I listen to Eminem, came on board. But ultimately, it was Eminem's skills that got him there. Because if you're actually saying who are the greatest rappers ever, Eminem belongs on that list. He doesn't get a boost because he's white. He might have gotten a sales boost, maybe. But there are plenty of black rappers who have sold a lot of records. 50 Cent sold a lot of records right after Eminem. Jay-Z has sold a lot of records. Kanye has sold a lot of records. Same thing goes for the basketball. Like, every great basketball player I can think of in the NBA, other than Bird, who's American, and Jokic, who's not, are black players. And I never thought once about not rooting, I've stand for LeBron as people, or I've certainly pulled for LeBron for 20 years. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you can. Get your comments in. Keep them coming in. But to that point, I do think Caitlin Clark will be better in the WNBA, which the topic bar, of course, it's spun off into the racial aspect, which has been part of this. And it's part of the reason it's a fascinating story to cover, really. Peterman says Diana is 41. She needs to retire. Kevin Zwicker says everyone has to come with a hot take these days. Clark is a baller. Simple as that. Let's just give her credit and stop the nonsense. Exactly. And guess what she's going to do at the WNBA level? Dominate. She's going to dominate. If you've watched her play basketball, you know she's going to dominate. Same way I knew LeBron was going to dominate. I watched when LeBron's high school game at St. Vincent St. Mary's was televised. I went to go watch that thinking I was going to hate on it. Thinking I was going to say, like, all these people are saying he's so good. They don't know what they're talking about. I actually know better. And I watched like 5 minutes of that game. And I was like, oh, no, this dude's the truth. You know, I could tell he was the truth because he was physically gifted, genetically predisposed to being great at basketball. And you could tell he was a basketball genius immediately. So all he needed was a good head on his shoulders. And you knew it was going to be nothing but success for him. And then you watch Clark play basketball for 2 seconds and you realize she's sick with it. She's sick with it. She's the best women's player I've ever seen. Not because she's white, because she puts the freaking ball in the hoop. And she sets up, again, like at the WNBA level, I think it's going to get even bigger and better because she's going to have better teammates. You're not going to be able to put all the attention on her. She's the kind of player that makes others better. And then if the attention's not on her, she'll dot your eyes. She's just nice. AJ Schreiber, lots of WNBA talk lately, even on NFL draft night. That's saying something. Look, I ain't, I'm not a dummy. I've seen the returns on talking Caitlin Clark and talking women's basketball now in the WNBA. And that's why I'm talking it. I never would have in a million years. Like there was the stories that interested me that made me jump into it. But then I was like, oh, let me see it. Let me try it again. Oh, let me try it again. Oh, let me try it again. Let me try it again. And it works every time. So if that doesn't tell you Caitlin Clark is a needle mover, I don't know what does. That's the reason for all this. She's a needle mover. Simple and plain. Simple and plain. Michael S. says Caitlin created her own shot. If you don't face guard her at half court, she is shooting. If you double team her, she passes. Great. If you don't guard her teammates running the floor, she hits them. Exactly. She's Steph Curry, Jason Kidd hybrid. She's got really good size and vision, and she moves the ball and passes it. Brandon 1050 says 95% in WNBA are toxic older players. 95% feels harsh. I mean, how many players have even spoken about this? You got to take it relative to the number of players who have actually said something. 95% is harsh. I don't think it's that high. It's just a few. And I get it. You don't want to see, in a sense, like they feel a certain type of way about her getting all this attention when they work their tails off their whole lives to be where they are and to build the league to what it is today. And then all of a sudden there's this phenomenon that gets 100 times the attention that they got. So I get that aspect of it, but ultimately it's just good for the game. Oh, I put that topic on already. Peter Mann says Caitlin Clark is more than just a shooter. She's a Magic Johnson with a Steph Curry shooting. But yeah, I said Jason Kidd and Steph Curry, if I'm comparing her to the men. On the women's side, I mean, See, I don't know if there's exactly a comparison. Tarazi had the most flair, and Sue Bird, when it came down to it, might be the player I'd pick. But Clark has to, that's where Clark could learn from Sue Bird is on the pull-up jumpers and the like. I think that's something she could emulate, and that's how she's going to get better, is to model some of her game after Sue Bird. All right, guys, I can't present, like I said, new computer, and I forgot to allow the settings. In order to present, it says I need to quit the browser, which I think would kick me off the stream. So today, I'm not going to do that. Today I will exhaust this talking point. Like I said, it was a rough day, very rough evening, but I'm not going to sit here and cry. I wanted to get a show in. I want to be consistent, and the numbers are going up. The watch time is going up. This channel is going to be monetized within a week, I would say, or so, roughly, very soon. Let's put it that way, because of you guys. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to get a ton of money from it, but it's the start, right? It's the start. And no matter what happens from here on out, like I've said, I'm going to keep this going in some way, shape, or form, because to me, this is a, outlet, a bonding, a stage, a platform, possible revenue stream, possible empire. BT616 says only in the WNBA does top 10 picks get cut because toxic bets over 30 years old, limited roster spot. That has to change. Look, I'm not gonna lie and say I've been following the WNBA super closely over the years, because I haven't. I'm following it much more closely now. Don't know, Kevin says, don't know if you're interested or able to do something like this, but a watch along for Clark's game seems pretty appropriate for the amount of time we spend on her on this show. That's a good idea. Either a reaction or a watch along, for sure. We'll do that. That's a good idea. What's the date of it? It's in May 14th, I think. Let's do that. AJ Schreiber says, shame that Maya Moore retired so early to pursue her other endeavors. She would have also been an all-timer. Yeah, I mean, look, there were plenty of ladies that came before. Cheryl Swoops, Cheryl Miller, Cynthia Cooper, Maya Moore, Rebecca Lobo, Asia Wilson now, Tarazi, Bird, Staley, lots of women. Lots of women. So they all deserve respect and to be honored. But it's just, it's a unique moment in time. The players before Michael Jordan were still great players. And that's what I said. But she's the Michael Jordan of the game. Michael S. says, I found the channel based on your Caitlyn opinion, but I have a large comic collection. Follow the Knicks and like wrestling. So you're in the right place, my man. And that's the way this show, at least for now, is going to run. I'm going to start with the Caitlyn Clark / NBA, WNBA basketball topic of the day until the returns tell me that's not a good idea, because they're telling me it's a good idea, and the interaction on this show is telling me it's a good idea, and it's a phenomenon. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. It's a journalistic endeavor in a way. It's a timestamp moment, and then I will get to the other topics of interest for me. And check the channel out. There's tons of shorts on those topics, tons of shorts on them, but they will be a part of this show too, whether that be pro wrestling. I'll be on with Denise Salcedo tomorrow night after SmackDown. I will be on her YouTube channel. I'll be talking superheroes. I'll be talking NBA basketball. The Knicks must have just tipped off, right? I'm guessing they just tipped off. That game can't be far underway right now. Yeah, 2-0 Philly. So I was right. Just tipped off. They say 7:30. It's really 7:45. Brandon 1050 says they worked the tail of killing the WNBA, making sure people at large don't watch. That's not going to be a problem this year. Trust me. Not going to be a problem this year. All right, hit me. The only other thing I was going to talk about was Tony Khan and the neck brace, but I just thought that was kind of funny. I wanted to show that. I don't have the presenting capabilities until I fix that setting. So everything else is free form. You guys send your comments in. Probably be a little shorter show today, but I'll get to your comments. I saw the AEW numbers were way down. I kind of thought the angle was entertaining at the end of the day. I don't have the energy to do the whole AEW WWE fight thing today. I like that Tony Khan wore the neck brace to get ready for the NFL draft. So everybody else hit me up with the comments. That will dictate the rest of the show. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Share. Comment later. I'll get back to you. Let me go through some of what you guys have in here. Peterman says, did you play sport in college, Lord Lundberg? In college, no. I could have run track in college. I could have run distance, but it was too much of a punishment in a way. So in high school, I was varsity soccer, basketball, and track. I was fifth in the state of Maryland in the 2 mile. And looking back on it, at some of those meets, I ran the 2 mile, the mile, the 800, and the 4x800 in the same night. It was almost torture. But I was a very good distance runner. I could have done that in college. I was a pretty good soccer player and a pretty good basketball player, but not collegiate good unless you're talking very, very low levels of the totem pole. And I went to the University of Maryland. So no, I did not play basketball or soccer for the University of Maryland. I don't even know if I could have ran track there. I could have ran track somewhere else. I'm not sure, but I was fifth in the state of Maryland in the 2 mile. BT616 says, excited about the upcoming Deadpool movie. Yeah. That's the biggest Marvel movie in a long time. Biggest Marvel movie in a long time. Check out the video below. Video below of Wolverine. I did a whole intro thing for Wolverine and what I think he can bring, because Wolverine's a Mount Rushmore character. And it's exciting to have him in the X-Men back. That's really what I'm excited about. Dave Steigerwald says, but you ran that 3-ball in the 1050 MSG League with us. Yeah, we won the championship. It's right here. By the way, Dave, I think I'm a better shooter now than I was then. In fact, you could check it's on my I would present it again. It's on my IG, but at Dykeman, it's on my IG and my TikTok and my Facebook and my Twitter somewhere. At Dykeman this past summer, I hit at least 7 threes, NBA threes in a competition. It gave me the confidence. Now in the pickup runs I do, I'm pulling from half court. Kevin Zwicker with a good question. Rob, I've always wondered, when you started your media career, did you have a goal or a dream job you were shooting for? I wish the answer to this was yes. And perhaps the fact that the answer to this is not yes has been a detriment to me, if I'm being completely blunt and honest. I'll use Ryan Rucco as an example. Ryan Rucco is a good friend of mine. We did a show together, but he always wanted to be a play-by-play guy. He knew that's what he wanted to do. And I remember, and he wouldn't mind me sharing this because he shared it. I remember we were on our way back from Resorts World Casino or one of those things. And he, was struggling. This was after our show was blown up. And I think he was doing the show with Stephen A. Smith and he was talking about his various options. And I was like, you're getting more play-by-play gigs, man. Just cut bait with the radio thing and go do play-by-play. The more opportunities will start popping up. And look where he is now. I mean, he's a superstar in that field. He is the clear winner of the Rucco and Lundberg show, at least at this juncture. The clear winner. Peterman says, Wolverine is not Mount Rushmore. Oh, let me finish Kevin's question. So what I needed to do was, I lost my train of thought there for a second. What I knew I wanted to do was something in the sports media realm or the entertainment realm. And that's why I went to Maryland, because it was a big sports school and a great journalism program. I fell into student radio. I worked myself up the student radio chain. That led to my internship with Around the Horn, which led to my first job in New York. In between that situation, I found myself doing open mics, stand-up comedy. I bartended and waited tables for a while before I got back in the radio, and then I forced myself on air. in a sense on the radio. And since then I've done radio and obviously digital media and all that stuff. But one of the problems, one of the good things is I can do everything well. Like I can podcast well, I can host well, I can produce well, I can write well, I can do all those things well or excellent in my opinion. But I never had that like specific narrow lane of focus, and maybe that's something I got to get on now. Never too late, right? Peterman says Wolverine is not Mount Rushmore. What is Robin talking about? Batman, Superman, Flash, Spider-Man, Hulk, and Wonder Woman. Come on. Wolverine is the most popular Marvel character next to Spider-Man. That's it. Look at the comic sales from the 90s. You could make the argument that Iron Man has passed him in the pop culture verse now because of the MCU. You could make that argument. Even in his heyday, it was Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Hulk. Those were the three most popular Marvel characters. But Wolverine pushed more merch, sold more comic books than Hulk. He did. The Flash does not belong in this conversation. Batman and Superman, yes. I would say that the Mount Rushmore is Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Wolverine. The next ones up are Wonder Woman. That's correct. Hulk. Wonder Woman, Hulk, Captain America, and Iron Man. That's the top 8. And then I think post-movie, I'd go Thor and Black Panther. Is the Hulk a joke to you? No, I love the Hulk. Look at behind me. That's Incredible Hulk 181. I wish I had a mint copy. I wouldn't have financial issues. But I love the Hulk. And the Hulk, I remember asking Joe Quesada when those Marvel movies were coming out if they're going to do the Hulk right. And he was just like, wait till Avengers. And that's when Hulk had that, I'm always angry moment. And then, he's had a bit of a rough patch, but they can bring him back if they do like World War Hulk. AJ Shriver says you could always jump back to overnight early morning, but I feel like people get pigeonholed in that role. It took decades for Freddie Coleman to get away from late night radio. He's really good too. Hey, if you can give me decades on the radio, I'll sign up for it now. You got write your local program. Hit up the people in Chicago, AJ. Hit them up for me. I've contacted everybody I know. I have reached out to everybody I know. I've made content every day in this process. I've done other stuff that, in an ideal world, I wouldn't, maybe have reached out about or tried to do. I'm doing my best. This is what I'm good at. I feel like this is what I'm doing. The growth is showing. The growth is showing, and this is really, really done well of late. There is no doubt in my mind that I can now at least turn this into a supplementary income, unquestionably. More than that, we'll see. That takes time. BT616 says they can't do a Hulk movie because Universal owns the rights, the same way Sony owns Spider-Man. Yeah, well, that's another reason why those characters, they're the most popular. It was Spider-Man, Hulk, and the X-Men that were bought up first. Peterman says, I want a DC versus Marvel crossover movie. Maybe James Gunn can make that happen somewhere down the road. You got a better chance at X-Men versus Avengers first. AJ Schreiber says, keep it up. Your stuff from a few days ago still pops up on Facebook, and the amount of views and comments is becoming quite staggering. Yeah, it works. It's like that Caitlin Clark joint from last weekend has 500,000 views on Facebook. Just Facebook. The Wolverine joint I did has 200,000 views and 10,000 likes on Instagram. There is not a doubt in my mind that this is working. So don't let any of my woe is me narratives. Like, again, I'm not doing a woe is me show today because I'm past that shit. But I'm in a tough spot. It is what it is, but I'll get through it. And I know that this is working. And that's what that episode I did was about. At my heart, like it was reaction. I was raw, but I did it because it's always worked. Wherever I've been, it's worked. The numbers say it worked. So it pisses me off when it doesn't seem to be recognized or doesn't count sometimes. But I'll just do it myself. We'll do it live. I'll just do it myself. I mean, it's going to take a minute. That's the problem. It's going to take a minute. So I got to, weather the storm, if you will. But it's going to work. It's going to work. It is working. And thank you. I mean, maybe it's because you're clicking on it, you see it on Facebook, but yes, the views on those things, I'm objectively good at it. I'm objectively good at it. Kevin says, I'm getting older now. I don't know if I can wake up at 4 a.m. to listen to you again, like in high school. I don't know what I don't want to live that lifestyle either, man. To be real, I'd almost prefer to have a day job and then do this at night than do that. If I'm being real with you, we'll see how it shakes out. Make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. A lot of new people have joined in the last couple days. That's great to see. Obviously, what I'm doing is working. This cannot be argued. We're on this show has seen not that these numbers are staggeringly good, but for a brand new show that I started out of my basement with no clear game plan other than I know how to talk and I believed I could attract an audience, we're getting consistently now 1,000 to 3,000 people watching the stream. That's pretty on a day-to-day basis. It's pretty good, I think. And then I'm posting reels that are getting hundreds of thousands of views, not from Sports Illustrated's account, not from ESPN or SiriusXM. By the way, I'll be on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Cinco de Mayo, 12 to 4. Cinco de Mayo. I'll be on Mad Dog. Enjoy doing shows over there. But without the platforms of any of these huge media companies and the hundreds of thousands of views, and then start this YouTube channel, I did not have I had it because I took an old one I guess I had created and made this, but I had no presence. I maybe had a subscriber, one. We're at almost 2 Gs now. And thousands of people sometimes watching this show. The floor is starting to look like 1,000. I mean, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of y'all. Thank you. That's significant. If anybody out there from a company, a media company, is watching that, wake up. I don't even need y'all to get an audience. I don't need y'all. I would like a paycheck, please. And I'll bring you the audience. BT616, I have a feeling Marvel is going to screw up the X-Men the same way Disney screwed up Star Wars. I don't think so. I don't think so. They nailed the MCU. Let's give them a little. I know it hasn't been great since, but let's give them a little credit. I think part of the problem is Guardians of the Galaxy was so successful, it was almost a gift and a curse because nobody knew who the hell they were, and they still turned that into a bona fide box office hit. And then they thought they could do Eternals. And then they thought, after Endgame was over, they could just use any which character, any which way. And that was never going to work that way. I think that's part of the issue. But they're getting the heavy hitters back. And I don't think they'll mess up the X-Men. Look at X-Men 97. I don't think they'll mess it up. Kevin says, the show is fun, man. I don't know anybody else as seasoned in your field, as interactive with his fans as you. Well, look, here's a couple of things that are the truth. One, in the radio business, they say the other side of the glass, right? And I was in a lot of rooms where the talent would hang out on one side and the producers would hang out on the other. I always felt more comfortable in the other room, even when I was talent. And there's no me without you. I could not have thought to even try to do this without you. And I could sit here and talk to myself, But I am. It's more fun with y'all. You guys are my peers. You know, you're my peers. Yeah, I might have had a cool job or have had cool jobs and will have a cool job, whatever. But I I've never once considered myself to be better than the audience. I haven't. I may be like better at certain things, just like many in the audience are better than me at certain things. So that's part of it. AJ Schreiber says, I'll admit I haven't tuned in since Endgame. Fatigue and missing Iron Man Cap made me take a long break. Yeah, it hasn't been as compelling. And there's only been a couple of really good projects since then. I thought WandaVision was excellent. I liked Black Panther. I liked the second Black Panther. I don't care what nobody says. I liked Spider-Man. You know, Tobey Garfield Spider-Man. And Guardians 3 I liked, I guess. But that's about it. That's about it. Now X-Men. But, I mean, if you had gone back in time, I would have been much more excited about an X-Men universe launching than an MCU launching. So that's part of it. That's part of it. All right, guys. Any more comments? Get them in. I did want to run a show today. Like I said, this has been the silver lining to a very rough year for me thus far. But the fact that y'all are showing up, the fact that y'all are here, I'll keep being here. You guys keep showing up. We'll keep growing this thing. Hit the like button, please. Hit the subscribe button, please. Comment, share, comment later. I'll get back to you. Any other comments, send them in right now before I get out of here. I'll be back on Monday. I like the Monday through Thursday schedule. I'm not going to say that I won't hop on, by the way, for like emergency broadcasts if there's something compelling in that regard. But for the most part, that Monday through Thursday schedule has been working. It feels like the right balance, you know. Michael S. says, I've lost jobs. Your eyes face forward for a reason. I think that you mean like you keep going. Appreciate it. Hey, thank you for showing up, by the way. Who's that, Monster? No, look, I'll be fine. I will be fine. There is no the hardest part is getting through this current situation. And like I said at the top of the show, we got another email today. That was a doozy. I'll talk more about it later when it's settled, when I'm sure about it. It was not good. It was not good. Involving severance. Not happy about it. But I will hold my tongue for the moment. Because there's going to be a point in time here very soon, maybe even tomorrow, where there's no point in holding my tongue anymore about it. But just for the meantime, and because I've been so open and honest and sharing, and I wasn't going to do another show where I'm like, oh, I mean, not that I did that. I was just raw emotion, and I was trying to be authentic, and I was sharing my truth with y'all. But onward and upward. Can't nothing. Oh wait, I can't quote. I was going to quote a Puff Daddy song. Can't do that. Jay-Z, I will not lose ever. Peter Mann says the Boston Celtics are overrated. Maybe, but they're still probably the best team in the East. Are the Knicks winning? Very early, 18-15. Knicks lead. Everybody playing for Philly. Embiid is playing. I mean, there's no reason Maxey wouldn't play. That was an illness, right? How's Brunson doing? 1 for 4 again. I love Josh Hart, by the way. I love Josh Hart. What a hustler. Brandon 1050, you keep saying my number one girl is Caitlin Clark. You know her name does not have a Y and starts with a C. Just a FYI, it's Caitlin. My number 2 girl is Angel Reese. They need to treat them like the stars they are. Well, hopefully the Chicago Sky does do that. Angel Reese is going to be in commercials. There's no question. BT616, Miami will beat Boston. That's a tough. With Jimmy Butler, I agree. I actually would have picked them with Jimmy Butler. I don't know. He needs to come back in that series for them to win the series, I believe. If they're going to win the series. Any more comments? Get them in. Because I'm going to wrap this one up here today. Please like and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button. Share. Comment. Do what you guys do and have done. Again, so like let me read you the numbers real quick. Just because you guys are a part of this, it's worth sharing. And I know I did this the other day, but here we go. The channel itself in the last 28 days is up by 353%. 232,000 more views than usual. So that's good. This show, specifically this playlist, let's look at that, is up 224% in the past 28 days. Another 169% in the past 28 days. Another 169% in the past 7 days. If you look at the last several episodes, 3 Gs, over 3 Gs, 2.5 Gs, 1.5 Gs, 1.2 Gs. The last two are creeping up on 1,000 right now. Today's is going to definitely clear it. Looking at the numbers right now, which I know it's like doesn't sound like a massive number, but I sure as hell think it's a lot for a show that just started. You know, for a show that was built from the ground up. And if you like the other stuff, again, I'll be on Denise Salcedo's channel tomorrow night reacting to SmackDown. Check that out. I will be posting shorts on my channel on the rap stuff, on the Marvel stuff, on the NBA stuff, obviously, the wrestling, all that stuff. So if you're into that stuff, you found the right place. But as Brandon 1050 writes, and got her name right this time, good correction, Caitlin Clark is a beast, and she is a traffic machine. There is no doubt about it. That is the reason she's getting all the attention. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let anybody get it twisted. This show is proof of it. And I think if you've discovered this show, you know I'm not coming at it from a biased point of view. I didn't start as like, I liked her, and I said she's the best player I'd seen, but I wasn't like running around waving Caitlin Clark pom-poms. And I got nothing against Angel Reese. I'm not one of these like, Caitlin Clark is great, but Angel Reese is the worst. No, Angel Reese is super charismatic. And I got nothing against the ladies of the past. I would not resent a shoe deal for Asia Wilson or anybody else. But I just found it monumentally stupid how people were pretending, because I think they're really pretending, that they don't understand why it's Caitlin Clark who's getting all the attention. Because Caitlin Clark is the one with the objective metrics through the roof. And the one with the game. She's better than all those girls. It's okay to say. I watched basketball my whole life. She's just better than they are. And anyone that I've ever seen. And whether she was black, white, or anything else, I'd say the same thing. Michael S. Angel Reese's press conference was in a rec center with 10 journalists. The Sky messed that up. I didn't see that. She deserves a lot of attention, too. I mean, she's the second biggest star in women's basketball. Off the strength of what happened in college. We'll see how she does, at the pro. She's a good player. I don't, it's not on that same tier, but she's a very good player. And she's a star, in other ways too. So she deserves to be treated that way also. Because you will be seeing a lot of Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and the WNBA. And you'll be seeing a lot of me. Have a good weekend, everybody. Till next time, here on this same Robin channel.